Welcome back, everybody. Tale of Two Frogs here on episode 4 of this project, and it's a great episode here because I got a pair of frogs here that you're going to be seeing driving in just a few minutes. Frog number 1 is completely finished, all done, nothing left to do on this car. It is ready to go, fully restored. Frog number 2, now in your time, in a few minutes, you're going to watch this guy drive. I'm going to give you a lot of cool stuff about it. In my time, actually, the tires are... I got 2 more days until the tires get here, but I'm filming ahead of time anyway. In the meantime, I just have it on some generic 2.2-inch buggy tires that don't actually fit. Well, we'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, so what I can declare on these things. So one of the big questions that I asked at the beginning of this project was, if you're going to get an old original Tamiya frog and you're going to do some restoration work on it, is it worth it to actually do that as opposed to buying a new frog? And my price sheet here, let's run this down. Now, most bigger retailers right now, a new frog is running at about $225. I have heard you can get them a good chunk cheaper other places, but we'll go at $225 for our baseline pricing. How did this one break out? The original frog off of eBay was $95. The receiver, which I did purchase to go with the GT3C radio, was $950, although you'd have to buy that either way. Speed control, a generic Hobbywing 1060 knockoff off of AliExpress, was $1.05. And a big shout out again to the local guys here at Hobbytown of Sioux Falls. They helped me source a lot of these parts. Prices were really competitive there, and honestly, they got it to be quicker than most online places would have. Anyway, they got me the front tires and the rear tires. The rears were $7.80. The fronts were $5.20. A couple items came off of eBay. That would be drive shaft boots, were $10.35. Body plus the wing plus the stickers was $39.95. I did end up having to replace the rear wheels. We'll get to that detail in a little bit. That was $12.49. And a set of bearings was $12 split between the two cars, so $6 on this guy. That gives me a total of $187.34. So we're looking at about $40 cheaper. Well, actually, discounting the radio, which doesn't really factor into, about $50 cheaper for me to get an original frog here, restore it, and put it back to essentially what a brand new car would be. The only caveat on that is I did, of course, keep the original rear hex drive shafts because there was nothing wrong with them. If you do need to replace those, expect another $40. But anyway, so cheaper than original. I got myself a fully running frog, and we will give a good rundown on that in a couple minutes on how this sucker is driving for me. Now, frog number 2, we're going to go into some more details here. Essentially, a quick rundown where we're at. In the last videos, I gave you the rundown on the entire rear suspension on there. Did purchase some parts here, which I'll explain in a couple of minutes. Have not done anything yet with the front suspension. Again, that'll be covered a little bit here in a couple of minutes as we're going. But I do a lot of cool things to show you on frog number 2 before you guys see this sucker driving. Just to give a good rundown of what we did on the frog number 1 here prior to going into some driving videos. Now, of course, remember, body was trashed, so we did a whole new body. And I will say there's one thing I do regret about the new cars, and that's all the licensing agreements that kind of fell through. And the stickers now are different than they used to be. I did like the fact that originally these cars came with a bunch of real Racing World logos on them, such as NGK spark plugs, Pennzoil, Moog springs, autometer gauges, things like that. And because of the licensing issues, of course, now you have Tamiya Racing, some random stuff on there. You may also notice I did not opt to do light pods on this. I might do that later with some 3D printed pieces, but I do have a couple of them. I just decided not to. I also did not do the riser antennas just because I didn't really care for them. Of course, tires, front and rear, are new. New bearings throughout the car. Did keep the original front wheels. The rear wheels I ended up having to replace, and I found a lot out about wheels on these cars. So if you're going to keep the original wheels, you basically have no choices. Your front tires, there is one style available, used for the Frog, the Hornet, and the Grasshopper. The rear wheel with the 1.5-inch rims, you basically have the spiked tires here, which were used on the Frog and the Hornet, or you have the paddle styles used on the Grasshopper. Nothing else will fit. That was part of the problem I had, was this apparently had Subaru Brat rims, which were, as opposed to a 1.5-inch, they were a 1.7-inch, so the tires didn't fit on the rims, and the old rims are trashed anyway. Everything else, otherwise, like I said, pretty much this car is just cleaned up and lubricated and things of that nature. Replaced the speed control with that generic 1060 knockoff. Basically just tightened everything up. Now the one other thing I did find out was previously we had an adapter in here using a 1200 milliamp nickel metal hydride battery, and what I found was that those little nickel metals, that low amperage, they actually couldn't handle the load of the original motor when I was in the grass, and it would trip the voltage drop off in the speed control. So I did have a 5,000 milliamp or so 2S LiPo that I have in here, and like everything else, I swapped it to XT60 connectors. I did end up having to make some new 3D printed battery holders on here just because that battery didn't quite fit, and the wire on it was really, really long, so I ended up having to chop it down to about a 3-inch wire on the battery and put a new connector on there. But that got me frog number 2, like I said, completed, ready to run, ready to go. And let's take a check at how this thing performs. Now in the backyard, when I first gave it a try, I'm going to be honest, this thing does struggle. The short wheelbase, the small tires, it just does not do well in grass. It bounces all over the place. Steering is a bit of a struggle. And realistically, it never turns except when I don't want it to. So grass, no. It's just not good on grass. Now, dirt, however, it's surprisingly quick, surprisingly fun on dirt. This is out at Aspen Park Raceway in Brandon, South Dakota. Now this track is made for 8th scale boogies, so the car is going to struggle a bit on there, but it jumps better than I expected. It tracks better than I expected. I still suck at driving it, but it's a hell of a lot better on dirt than I expected it to be. Now, in a moment for you guys, we're going to start doing some more add-ins on this car, but just going to give you a quick recap where the status of the second Frog is, because as of yet, I haven't driven this car, but you'll see that in a couple of minutes because of the magic of time. Anyway, where we have this, of course, we have the full custom rear 3D printed suspension, some generic 70mm shocks on here. And motor-wise, we have the Yeah Racing Hackmoto V2 23 turn. I may go spicier on this depending on how I feel the car can handle it, but that's what we're going to go with at the moment. The Hobbywing 1080 speed control. Did keep the original Futaba servo just to see how it does. I'll pick another servo later if I have to. Right now I just have some generic 2.2-inch buggy tires on here, and they didn't work, unfortunately. So the rear tires, I was able to get them to fit, but you still need an adapter on them, and even then, they just, because of the shallow offset on them, they just go so far inboard. You can see here they actually bumped the motor, and I had to make a really tall adapter to make them work, and I just don't think that's going to fly either way. The front tires are even worse. So again, these are generic 2.2-inch buggy wheels, and they're on backwards, as you may notice, because if you have them on the right way, they hit the steering arm, and you just can't even mount them on the car. These are mainly here just as placeholders for this video at this point, and to show you, honestly, these are just too big. They don't look right on the car. They may perform okay if I can get them to fit, but I'm not going to worry about that. On the front, I haven't done much with the front suspension yet. I do have some plans for that, but that's for next video. I did have to replace the front brace on this car because at some point this thing took a really nasty hit. The original was bent up at about 20 degrees or so. Again, this is just a temporary piece. And with the centered servo, I did need new steering arms. So we're looking at some generic ball ends that I got off of Amazon with some 2mm rod, not quite turnbuckles, but 2mm threaded rods for the steering. That way I can actually make the centered servo work and have some adjustability to it. But anyway, let's get into the fun stuff here. One thing I did find, and this is cool, Tamiya has an option here for you. You have part number 22077, and this is, they call it Hornet one-piece large diameter wheels. Essentially what these are wheels that you can use on your Hornet, your Frog, your Grasshopper, and they will allow you to use 1.9-inch wheels. They just go straight on there. What? Oh, okay, so you still need the original adapters, but these will bolt right up without having to replace anything else. And they'll let you use 1.9-inch tires, which means I'm waiting for the fronts, but I'm going to be rocking BBX tires on this thing just to get a little more modern, see how they do. But this is one cool thing that Tamiya came out with a couple of years ago to let you use more modern, give you more options there for tires. And let's get to put some work on this thing, get this thing driving. Now, initial tests in the backyard are looking pretty promising. It does track a lot better. It's not great, but it's doing well. Has a lot of traction. And it really, like I said, it shows a lot of promise. Unfortunately, I ran it through a pile of dog poop, and I kind of had to spend an inordinate amount of time cleaning out many nooks and crannies in the bottom. Now, I got to say, with the BBX tires on here, it does look a lot better. These wheels from Tamiya are a great option for putting a little bit more tire selection into there, and these tires do work great. I did do some driving in the front yard on the pavement, in the driveway and on the street, and these things have a lot of grip. You can really see the suspension in action there, and there's a lot of good going through it. But I do have one significant problem, is that with my geometries that I have right now, it tosses the dog bones pretty easy. So I do a little work to do on the suspension geometries to get those to work better in there. A lot of it is there's a linkage in here. I can make different lengths to make it work okay. The nice thing is they're easy to pop back in. But as far as how the suspension is performing compared to the original Tamiya, like we have here on Frog number 1, remember this car is, the suspension wise, is just cleaned up, lubricated, and put back to original. I don't know what shock oil weight should have been there from the factory, so I had some associated, I think 30 weight laying around that I put in here. So let's give this thing a drop test to show you the difference. So I think that is a pretty good point of comparison between how the new modified suspension does on Frog number 2 compared to the original Tamiya suspension in the rear for Frog number 1. I'm not going to take much credit for that, though. The majority of what you're seeing is a combination of the replacement shocks and also differences in the tires. So the original Frog tires here, they are of course hollow. There is no foam in them, so you're just basically carrying off the weight of the rubber. And the tires are a little different, whereas on the BBX tires, they are foamed on the inside, so you are getting some dampening effect off the tires. My suspension, what it really does is it just smooths out and takes away any of the slop and the play in that suspension. So I can't really take credit for that improvement in performance. All my suspension does is reduce the wear points and keep it more stable over time. Front suspension on these cars, I'm going to admit here, I am not going to do any more modifications as part of the tale of the two Frogs. I believe that in the next video I'm going to be wrapping up this car, finishing it out, and giving you my final conclusions. Now remember, my original 2 questions here were, with an original vintage Frog, is it worth it to actually restore these things and bring them back as opposed to a re-release? And my other question was, for a Frog in 2025, if you want to have a performing car with modifications, hop-ups, and things like that, is it worth it to do it in a Frog, and what kind of options are available to you? So I'll be answering the final questions there in the next video, wrapping it up, showing you what the new body is going to look on these things, and then decide what I'm going to do with these cars, because of course you only need so many of the same car before you really have to start parting with something. And probably only going to keep one. I don't know yet which one it is. So anyway, we'll catch you next time on that. See you later.